What's up, boys? We're gonna go over this build right here. I just finished building my very own PDW. There are a lot of PDWs on the market today, and I actually just decided to make my own, because when you make your own AR, you get exactly what you want to your tastes, and that's what I did here. I painted it myself, I picked all the components out myself, and this is actually the replacement for my Maxim Defense PDX. I got that gun. That was going to be my own PDW, my little self-defense gun. It didn't work out too well, as you guys saw in the previous video. They were really never able to fix it. They dragged it along for almost 2 months, and they kept promising that it was going to be done in a week, done in a week, done in a week. After about 2 months, I was like, all right, guys, it's time to call it quits. I am just going to look for a refund on this one. And they ended up doing that. They accepted it. I even got a call from the vice president. He said that the gas system had to be redesigned for the 300 Blackout cartridge, and that the military was testing it. They actually requested it, and they found problems that the gas system would leak at around 700 to 800 rounds, which, as you guys know, isn't very much. My particular gun was made without the sealing nut, they said, and that sealing nut was failing anyway, so whether it had it or not, that gun was going to have that problem eventually. They had to redesign some of the barrel and the gas system, I guess. Clearly they don't test fire the gun, so we made this thing. And let's go over what I put in this build, how I built it, and the paint scheme. As you guys see, this is a hodgepodge of different shades of FDE and gray and some black, and I absolutely love how it came out. If you guys are into like the different shades, like the FN Scar and even that PDX and other guns like that, I think it's so fun when you just mix a bunch of colors together. They go well, but they're different, and yeah. So some of this gun is painted by yours truly, and some of it is just the color of the manufacturer's product. Let's go over it from the tip. We have an OSS muzzle brake. This is an awesome muzzle brake by OSS. It is a QD attachment. Let's cue in. We have my OSS. This is the 762 Ti QD. So it comes on, you thread it to the right on this one, and boom, that's it. Now you have a nice quiet gun. What's cool about the OSS can is, if you look at this, see how those are all kind of angled? Now, they're angled in such a way that if you have this can loose, like say it's like this, and you shoot it once, it'll twist it and tighten it like that. So this can will never come loose on you, ever. It self-tightens. And this gun sounds amazing with this can. I am not kidding when I say that. Like, I put originally on, I had this very similar build going on, and I put my Obsidian 45, which I absolutely love for a pistol can. I put that on this gun before I put the muzzle brake on, and it sounded great, but it has kind of like a high pitch air sound, kind of like a nail gun. This one is just like a poof of air rather than like a slap of air. And that's kind of the best way I can describe it. And it just sounds amazing. So yeah, I don't recommend this, but what I was basically doing was I was threading this on, hand tight, putting this on, and shooting like 1 or 2 subsonic rounds. And then I would thread it off and then put the other can on, direct thread on right onto the barrel threads, and listen to it, shoot like 1 or 2 rounds. And yeah, this can was the way to go. So I rock set this muzzle brake on, and that's gonna be its perfect home with this can. And it has a heat abatement device on there. This thing is clutch in like training classes and stuff, because these things get fucking hot. So yeah, that's the tip, QD, and muzzle brake. Then we have the barrel with a low profile gas block, just a normal low profile gas block. The barrel is a Ballistic Advantage 7-inch 300 Blackout barrel, and it is the Hanson profile. You can't really see it inside there, but that just means that it's thicker down here and then tapers down to like a medium contour down towards this end. So it's like thick back here, tapers into that. That's their Hanson profile. It's supposed to be great with accuracy and heat and strength and all that stuff. I don't know. It's a sweet barrel, and I've had nothing but good experiences with Ballistic Advantage barrels. We have a Strike Industries rail here. This is painted by me. This is a dark gray. It's actually, that's just what it's called. It's just one of those Krylons, and it's dark gray. It's pretty tough. I've dropped this thing and I don't have any marks on it that I can really see. And just like while building it and stuff, I just would like drop it on the table and stuff, and it's looking pretty good. This Strike Industries rail I really liked because it's pretty lightweight. You know, it has that little blank section that's just for weight reduction, and I think it looks pretty cool. I like these little cutouts down the end. It's not the lightest rail, but it has a sweet attachment point. I love this attachment point. It has these little wings right here to keep it up centered. You know it's always centered because the wings fit very tightly on this upper, and it's fantastic. This one bolt attachment system is awesome, and the bolt threads right through the barrel nut. The barrel nut has like a part here and a part here, and then the bolt goes through between them. So it just really eliminates any kind of possibility of movement and loosening, which I really like, because I've had some handguards that kind of threaded on and they would come loose once in a while. This one I haven't had that experience with. I've used this on another build, and it's fantastic. I love that they're set up, and you never have alignment issues, like I said, with these wings and this attachment system. It's really, really great. The one downside to this rail is it comes with that barrel nut, and the barrel nut it comes with is like a heavy stainless steel, and then you can optionally buy for like 50 or 60 bucks. It's crazy, but you can buy like an aluminum one, which is the exact same thing. It's just like half the weight, and obviously I did that, but it's just like silly. Why don't they just make it only with the aluminum, since you're getting a lightweight handguard? That's the design of this. Yeah, that's my story, and it's a big thick one. It's like totally like that thick. It's big, nice, thick barrel nut. So that's what's going on up here. Then we have the Strike Industries hand stop kind of thing going on. This is a short barrel, 7-inch barrel, so we have a nice hand stop, and this makes holding the gun fantastic. I absolutely love this angled foregrip. It looks awesome. It's lightweight. It attaches easy, and it's super, super functional. And then I just love this, like, they call it FDE, but this thing's kind of like a golden color. It's goldeny bronze. I just love it. And it gives me a nice unique shade of FDE to this gun. You can see it's almost a little bit metallic-y, shiny, very, very cool, and very, very functional. You can shove this thing right up against a barrier. Your hand comes here. You can pull back on this very easily. This is just fantastic, and I love this. I put this on almost all of my guns. Have this exact, no matter the size. Either it's a 16-inch barrel or this little 7. I always put this thing on there. Just love it. Then we'll come back. We have an Odin Works Upper. We'll just go to the upper, and this is, let's flip it around. This is their lightweight upper. Basically just has relief cuts everywhere around it, as you can see. And then over here, there's no forward assist, so that reduces weight, more relief cuts. It's very cool looking, in my opinion. I love the lines on it. Lightweight and looks cool. That's it, game on. The only thing I can say about this upper, which I will point out, because I have used it on another build before, you will notice that the bolt release kind of sits pretty close. This bar right here, I mean, it's not an actual bar, it's just an aesthetic line, and it's solid. So you could shave this down. I actually called them and asked them about it. If you have a bad lever, this line does not work with the bad lever, because you'll notice a bad lever clips on to your normal bolt release, so it makes it thicker. it actually will not let you release the bolt. Little quirk on this upper, it does not affect this particular lower though. This is the Seekins Precision NX15. And what that is, let me flip it around here, is it's their lightweight version of their ambidextrous bolt release lower. This is actually your bolt release, so you don't need a bad lever on this gun. The bolt release is built right into the side. This thing is amazing. This lower is a must. I would only use this lower from now on any AR I ever used, built. Like this lower literally makes all of my other AR lowers obsolete bullshit. Like, I love this bolt release. It's just so convenient, so cool, so fast. And then on the other side, you will also see that you have an enlarged bolt release and enlarged bolt catch going on over here. It's a little bit lighter than other lowers. It's like 9 ounces, I think. And it's just from these cutouts right here. And then you have just cutouts everywhere. You see all like the little cutouts behind here. It's just general weight reduction. It doesn't make an astronomical difference, but I just love this lower. Everything about it, looks and the functionality. You can still use it even if this bar is in the closed position. Safety selector, absolutely love these Radian safety selectors. The 45-degree throw is like a must. I put these on all of my builds. I think I mentioned that in previous video. Just absolute must-have on every single AR that I come in contact with. Then we have the Radian Raptor charging handle, which, as I said before, also is just amazing. Friggin' love this thing. And we have some anti-rotational pins. That's pretty standard. Daniel Defense pistol grip. I absolutely love these pistol grips. Then we have the trigger. Now, the trigger is a Timney trigger. Timney makes some amazing drop-in AR-15 triggers, and this is awesome. It is a 3.5 pound trigger, and let's show you what's going on right here. So there is absolutely no take up. It is a single stage trigger, and it is only 3.5 pounds, like I just said. So let's just watch how this thing rocks. It like barely moves, maybe 1 millimeter. I don't even know. Like it barely moves. It's so cool. And then we have reset. Barely. Like you almost can't even see it. It's crazy. This trigger is absolutely friggin' crazy. Look at that shit. Oh my god. This trigger is phenomenal. I despise flat triggers. I want curved triggers on every gun that I ever own. And even more so, I like triggers with a curved face. This actually has a flat face. You'll see that's totally flat. I don't like that ideally. I wish this exact trigger came with a rounded and curved face on this trigger. It only comes rounded with a flat face, but what are you gonna do? Can't have everything you want. This trigger is absolutely super sweet, and it's light enough that these sharp edges on the corners aren't gonna fuck with your hand. It also comes in 4.5 pounds, I believe. They actually designate the trigger weight when you purchase it. And it drops in effortlessly. You just pop the whole enclosure right in. It's all enclosed, and you just throw the pins in and done. You have a new trigger, and it's phenomenal. Then we're back to the stock. So, as you guys know, this is a replacement for my Maxim Defense PDX that did not work. And so we have their brace that I was so incredibly fond of. And this brace has a lot of unique things about it, and we're gonna talk about that right now. This system is not a typical AR-15 buffer tube and bolt and all of that stuff going on. So the buffer is not in the buffer tube. The buffer is actually inside the bolt carrier group, and I'm gonna take this apart and show you. Now, one unique thing about this brace is that when you hold it out like this, as you probably saw in the intro, and you pull really hard, it pops out like that, which is very cool. And you will see how those are, see the slots right there? They're all angled. That's how it does that. If you put enough pressure on it towards the top right here, if you pull it down here, it doesn't really do it. But if you come straight up, you grab it like with your fingers out here, then you can pull it right out. So this buffer tube is actually like an inch, inch and a half shorter than any other standard AR-15 buffer tube. And that's what allows this to go like this. And it becomes so much shorter. You have the SB Tactical brace that looks very similar to this. And even this company, Maxim Defense, makes another brace that looks very similar to this. But you will notice that this piece actually sits like that. This is what it looks like fully closed. And that is because it's using a standard length buffer system and buffer tube, and it's all standard internals with a standard bolt carrier group. This brace, the unique part about it is that it closes that much further, and it has that unique BCG that allows that to be possible. Now, let's get into the internals. So to take this gun apart, we're gonna do that, and then we're gonna pull out right there. So now we have normal takedown pins. You cannot pivot this gun though. So you pop this pin out like that, and you'll see it will not go up. Now we hold that down. We're gonna pop this one out, and now the upper and lower are separated from each other. We are gonna slowly allow it to come up and out. There we go. I actually care about the paint job right now, so I'm kind of being nice and careful. But you slowly allow it to come up, and now you'll see what's going on here. You have the buffer spring right there. It comes out with the upper, and then pull the charging handle back, and now you're gonna get the BCG. And it's a proprietary design to this brace and buffer system that they invented. I believe this is one of those nickel boron coating BCGs, and it's just this bolt just phenomenal, really high quality. You can see everything's nice and thick, well made. These are staked in place. Everything is perfect. And then you'll see back here, this is where all the magic happens. We have the buffer, and this buffer has a plastic recoil reduction pad in the back. It goes directly into the BCG, and that's what allows everything to get so small. As this goes back, there is no detent in the lower. You'll see that there is just an open hole there, and that's normally where your little detent would pop up and hold your buffer and spring inside the buffer tube. So it doesn't have that at all. This travels freely back directly into the tube like that when the bolt does come back. So there's the magic. That's how they do it. That inch and a half makes a pretty big difference when you have this thing collapsed. I notice it quite a bit. And when you have something like a normal pistol brace on a gun like this and it's all the way closed, this thing's like 3 or 4 inches shorter. It's way shorter than like an SBA 3 brace versus this thing. It's just no competition. This is just such a smaller package. Now, so I know you guys are wondering how to put this thing together. You are going to replace the spring, and you're gonna slowly push it back, line up that, and then bring it down. Like I said, I'm still like cautious about the paint and stuff, so I'm kind of being careful with it. But you're gonna line this up, make sure your pins are all the way out, and then press that in, press that in. Now the gun's back together. And we'll function check. Safety on, trigger doesn't fire, safety off, trigger fires, reset, fire, yep, good to go. So that's how you put it back together. It's not too hard. If you're not worried about scratching the cheap ass paint job that you put on your gun, then it's very easy, but it's very stable. It's much more stable than like the Honey Badger one. That one's actually kind of a pain in the ass. This has like that large buffer spring, and it's very easy, as you guys just saw. Now, as we're talking about the paint job, let's talk about the colors in this gun. Some of you might be curious. We have Krylon on the front, as I mentioned. That is a dark gray, they call it. Then we have Glacial Gray on the upper and lower. I thought it was very cool. Nice contrast, different colored grays. And that also is a Krylon. And then we have the same dark gray on the Radian Raptor charging handle. The Radian safety selector. It's the camouflage khaki color. It's a nice FDE. This Daniel Defense is also the exact same color as that. That is painted by me as well. And the last thing that is painted by me would be the Odin Works extended mag release, which I actually love. I didn't mention that yet. And then this is just an FDE. I did not paint that. This is the standard color that this brace comes in. This is directly from Maxim Defense. The standard FDE that this Eotech comes in, and obviously this is the standard color of your TLR8. So that is my home build. With all of that said, we haven't even seen a single piece of shooting footage. Why is that? Because people are fucking crazy and they're afraid of getting a cold. So the government has shut down all of the ranges and the restaurants and the beaches. Guys, I don't even know if this friggin' thing works. I haven't been able to test fire it. I just finished building it. With all of that said, the only reason why I'm not positive if it works is because we're using this really unique BCG and recoil system backed by Maxim Defense. Now, I've seen other companies build ARs straight up just like this, and this system works fine. I saw a video of a guy on YouTube just recently that used this brace. This is the SCW brace by Maxim Defense specifically. It is quite expensive, boys. It is quite expensive. But if it works well, I believe it's 100% worth it because it makes your gun way smaller. It looks cool. It functions awesome. And yeah, I mean, that's all worth it. You get a BCG, you get the buffer spring, the buffer, and the brace. We have all this stuff. I think this build came out really great looking, and if it functions well, this is gonna be the favorite rifle in my entire collection. I have a build exactly like this, exactly the same components without this buffer system, and it works 100% totally with every kind of ammo, subsonic, not subsonic, silenced, not silenced. It doesn't hiccup at all, and it locks back on an empty mag without this buffer system. So I know that this buffer system is the only question mark on this build. I didn't spare any expense. I wanted to make the ultimate PDW, and this is my ultimate PDW. Color scheme and features and hopefully performance. We will see. So I'll make a video on this thing on how it shoots. Stay tuned for that. And a little bonus, matching little brother. Ooh hoo hoo. Look at that sexy motherfucker. All right, guys. Catch you later. Thanks for watching. Hope you like the builds.